Hello Blender folks, welcome and welcome back to Pxy-STUDY. We are continuing here with this preparation of this rigged model, the base mesh with subdivision surface modifier and some rigs. So the to-do list here, it's almost done. Let's see, there's a chance I conclude this today. So we have to fix the target skeleton bone constraints. So we'll start by that. So basically what that means is that we have the base skeleton here, and we have this target skeleton, and then we have this is just for these bones, the IK system, very simple IK system here. Then we have the control rig. Okay, so we need to look at this, and after at some point we look at the helper deform bones, set bone collections. But here so there are some bone constraints here. We need to revise them. They are not in the deform bones, they are actually in here. So this target shoulder, yeah, so this is just like a mechanism rig. So basically I don't know where should be these bone constraints, but in principle this is very simple. They should target either the target rig itself or the control rig. But because we are it's better in higher hierarchy here. So the parenting is to higher hierarchy, so it's better to do this in higher hierarchy. However, here this is a different setup for shoulders. This stretch 2, it's most likely this, right? And if we reset, this doesn't change, which is accurate. And the dumped track, see, it should be something else that I don't see. It's a lower influence. Maybe this, yeah, I think it's possibly, it could be this one, yeah, this handle. It won't change of position, so possibly it will be this one. But to be sure, right, let's open the original file. Maybe we want this, no, we're not gonna make this. This will be for another iteration. So we're gonna look for the mechanism skeleton is the target, right? In this case, stretch 2. Okay, actually I decided to use the tweak or the tweaker. No, sorry, this is the, it's not the handle. Okay, so this is a bone hierarchy that I don't have there. And this should be tweak elbow, tweak shoulder. Okay, so there's some tweaker system here just for the joints. So that would be these ones, right? So yeah, it's this one and this one. So this is a system that I don't have there. Maybe I should get those ones ready. No, they have some other structures. I start to rebuild the entire rig here. This will be kind of stupid, right? So exactly, I wanted to simplify the control rig because we are not in that domain right now. So what I'm gonna do instead, we're gonna, this is a message even for myself. So basically, yeah, we're gonna use this is parent to the control. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. This hierarchies, okay, let's notes the control rig and the structures for this in the how to say, in crossing the intertwin I don't know, the crossing skeleton, yeah, and the skeletal relationships towards the are very simplified in this version. Only trust the until the target rig. Not beyond. Good. So this will be useful for validate this project. Okay, so now we're gonna, because it's collaborative. So here we're gonna, maybe someone find a better solution. So here this stretch 2, yes, the control. So this is like we need to ignore this stuff, right? For better. And here I'm gonna use this one. So what this does is that here we have the target rig. Actually, yeah, you see there's this displacement here. This is the dumped track doing its job here. And if we want to pose even more the control, the shoulder here, yeah, we don't have a tweaker shoulder, so you can use this bone here. It's part of the control skeleton. All right, so this is how we solve this thing. And then we, as for here, this is much simpler. Target for arm, no, I think here we want to control shoulder. We want also to target this bone. As for this one, parented to the, oh, someone is here. Welcome. This time GG Easy 8761. Fala, mano. Welcome, bem-vindo. This is Portuguese, I guess. Brazilian Portuguese, é a gíria. Fala, mano. Vi que você faz isso há 3 anos. Qual é o intuito? I saw that you, just for everyone, right, that is, I understand English and not Portuguese. So basically, I see you are doing this for the past 3 years, maybe a bit more, maybe 4 years about that. What is the intuit? What's the purpose of that? Você ganha money fazendo seus characters? Do you earn money with doing this character? I wish I did. Tu entende português? Digo, tu entende inglês? Daí eu posso falar direto, eu te responder direto em inglês. Mas responder em português só agora, assim. Depois tu responde se quiser. Eu comecei a trabalhar com Blender, na verdade trabalhar assim, no sentido sem ganhar dinheiro, eu comecei a fazer esse trabalho, essa busca de profissionalização, me especializar no Blender. Eu já era artista, mas eu fiz muitas outras coisas e eu não ganho dinheiro com computação gráfica, com 3D, mas eu já cheguei a trabalhar com animação, mas não durou muito. Eu sou animador, né? Eu sou desenhista, mas no Brasil é muito difícil, né? Tenho muitos amigos no campo, assim, mas eu não tenho agora muitos contatos, né? Mas assim, eu sou do século passado, assim. Então eu comecei faz tempo, mas eu não ficava sempre no campo das artes porque era muito difícil. Eu fazia estudar outras coisas, tentar outras coisas, tinha a possibilidade, né? E agora eu ainda estou tentando ver se dá para ganhar alguma coisa com o Blender no, sei lá, monetização do YouTube. O que eu gosto mesmo é de série de animação, mas isso é um trabalho hardcore. E no caso do Blender eu descobri que eu gostava muito de rigging. Ou então, talvez o que me fascinou no rigging é que eu gosto muito de criar personagens originais, OC characters. I like to make original characters in from drawing, and then I want to adapt them to 3D. And then, então aí eu faço esses. E aí o rigging ele tem a ver com character design. Rigging is also, especially the skinning part of rigging, organic rigging, for example, it's about character design too. So if you're really keen in doing good adaptations, good character designs, or something that you like, then it may take, it's extremely challenging to make good adaptation of rigging for 3D animation, or yeah, because in 3D animation you have to have poses, expressions, right? And an interesting point, pô, mano, tenta buscar, eu tenho com toda certeza a mesma experiência que você, mesmo assim faço uma boa grana. É que não, sim, muito legal, eu não sei como tu consegue, não sei onde tu mora, mas é que assim, a questão game dev está bastante em alta, sim, eu eu quero até aprender a Unreal Game Engine, só que ela é muito pesada. O meu computador ele mal tem espaço para instalar. Eu vou ter que organizar umas coisas aqui. Eu não tenho que comprar um HD externo novo e tal. Fazer alguns investimentos. Então o que acontece? É, eu saí do ramo sabe, por um tempo e aí eu tô tentando voltar, basicamente é isso. I quit lots of opportunities long time ago in the arts fields and maybe even cultural industry, and now more recently I have been trying to return somehow, but it's very hard. So, então, suas habilidades com Rig Card, você consegue tirar uma nota gigante. Suponho que sim, o problema é o QI, né? O QI indica. Eu procuro nessas, né? A pessoa tem que ter contato com uma rede e, tipo, conhecer gente, conversar com as pessoas, né? Mas eu não tenho atualmente esses contatos, eu estou muito isolado, então eu tenho que ir buscando. Eu fui buscando, só que pela internet as coisas não funcionam muito bem. E pelo menos não para mim, né? Até o, então é que eu estou fazendo outras coisas, eu não estou conseguindo agora me focar só no Blender ou essas coisas. Então mas eu não desisti, eu vou continuar procurando. Valeu pelas dicas, é interessante que tu tá trabalhando com games, é isso? Bom, vai respondendo, eu vou fazendo. So, ask he replies here. If he wants, I'm gonna continue here. So, the thing here is that we are going to, yeah, so this is why this has a stretch. This is wrong. This bone is a bendy bone. It doesn't need to stretch because we can do the stretching from the target bone, because if it stretches, it will then immediately stretch the bendy bone. So you don't have the bendy bone, which is start and end handle. It doesn't need to, well, in this case, it's just use this one. And here it's straight. So it just bends more in the wrist. Let's see the chat. Sim, trampo no Roblox Studio. Ah, interessante. Roblox é uma febre, né? Mas conheço outras pessoas que tiram mais que eu fazendo jogos para Steam também. A Steam é interessante, né? Eu tava buscando uma coisa, tipo um indie game de para ver se dá para lançar para cima, porque eu estava aprendendo uma game engine que é bem alternativa, né? É a UpBGA, Uchronia Blender Game Engine. É tipo um Blender, só que com a game engine. E eu tava aprendendo. Valeu, valeu. Ah, já tá saindo? Bom. Só queria te dar uma ideia, porque sempre vejo assim em live e queria que você tivesse mais reconhecimento pelo seu trabalho. Bom, obrigado. Pois é, pode ser uma questão de tempo, né? Eu tô vendo que dá para fazer, mas meu canal ele ficou muito tempo tentando monetizar e não deu certo, e agora eu meio que não estou muito interessado nisso de perdi muito tempo com essa promessa do YouTube, né? Eu tenho um amigo que é artista 3D que monetizou, no entanto, no YouTube. Mas aí ele foi fazer outras coisas. Não ganhava muito. Bem, valeu então. Até a próxima. GG Easy. A gente conversa mais numa próxima ocasião. Valeu. So, we gonna continue here. Also, we gonna get this bond constraints fixed. So, yeah, this targets the mechanism I could target here. See? Yes. Okay, there we go. So here we got this stretching here, and if I would stretch this one, it would require a tweaker bone, which I don't have here because we don't care about the control rig here too much. I'm just adjusting these bones here, right? So this is already, yeah, so to the control forearm, okay, for now, right? It's a provisory temporary thing, and this one we could place it to the this, but because the mechanism is in the way, this one, because this one is in the way, so we can make it stretch towards it also. So this also works. We see that this is creating some scaling of. Okay, I know what's happening. Okay, of course this is not good. It was not intended. So what's happening is that why is this happening? This bone is parented offset to the control forearm. Okay. Would it have anything to do with? Oh, I see what's going on. Of course, some bone is wrongly parented here. Target mechanism I key. Is this happening also on the foot? Yes, also this is happening on the foot. So, okay, so might be the I key stretch. I thought I had cleaned this I key stretch thing, so yeah, so it's the garbage of I key stretch. So there are a lot of ways to manage this, but this rig was taken from my original rig, so I don't understand why do I need this. So you see, if we could pose this or this actually, no, this doesn't work. Of course, in this case would need, I cannot grab this one, right? So basically, in this case, we're gonna do different. We're gonna target this one. And place it here, right? No, here, right? And so now, for some reason now, however, this is not following. of course, no IK stretch, so we need to grab this and place it. Yeah, so it's like I have this target rig, but it's not sufficient. I would have to solve all these structures. I need another, yeah, and maybe another bone layer, yeah, bone collector, just for uh, making these structures for the control rig to work more appropriately. So this is not very interesting. This will be a waste of time right now. So I'm gonna try to ignore that art scaling artifact, right? And we're just gonna reverse some of the steps here if I can. So I want to recover the IK stretch. And already this control rig is missing the tweaker, and I want to make later on an improvement here with multiple tweaker, like in Rigify, right? You know, the bendy limbs, right? I don't know if I never did that. I want to see if maybe we do if we split in two. Did maybe you guys, if anyone is watching, I don't know, did you ever made a one of those rigify bendy limbs like as a custom rig? I have never done, so I'm not even sure what is best. If you want, depends on the character design, right? But should one bendy, two bendy bones should be enough? Then what do? You have to destroy these bendy bones flying here entirely and just use the split the wave paint even. Yeah, so okay, but what matters is the target rig here. Let's ignore all these questions for now. So here this target is just has a parenting here. Yeah, it's not 100%, but it is working. We have some bones here also. This stretch 2 also needs some development. So in this case, this should stretch the head here is locked, right? Unless I do something like that. Yeah, so I don't have much functionality here for the neck. So, but this stretch too, it follows the neck. It should, let's see, target master. Okay, we just target this thing then. Higher hierarchy thing that should do, right? So we're gonna symmetrize these bones. Then as for here, these apparently don't need stretching. I think we also can symmetrize some bones here. Just making sure, okay, no bone constraint in this bendy bone. Same here, this is correct. Now as for here, we barely see, but there is a, the mechanism bones are here. They just have a parent control chest. Yeah, so this is parent to this one. This one is parented to control neck. Yes, although here we have some variations, like this is parent to control shoulder, this is parent to also control shoulder. Why it's not parented to the, so this these are some curious things. Maybe this parenting is incorrect, but usually these things are parent to the tweaker, some tweaker bone. So it's which is in between the skeleton, control skeleton, and the hierarchy and this target mechanism rig. All right, so we ignore this. The rig should work nonetheless. You see, it's working. So here, then we need to check here. Then there is this one. Okay, this one is a bit more complicated, but you see, it's not lost. So what we have here is that this is a special setup just for this kind of puppeteering skeleton with auto IQ option. So actually I was showing yesterday. So basically this use the auto IQ option, and I have the control of the spine, the whole spine, including the lower spine, somehow the lip. You see, I can bend the whole spine, but I still have the control of the hip. And so actually what's happening is that the deformed bone is the same, but it is suffering stacking like inversely. So this was very tricky to set up. It's not like perfect, but it's much better because the problem on typical rigs is that well, you can't have, at least not, maybe not in typical rigs, but the problem is that you cannot bend the spine from the bottom very much for expressive values of bendiness. I don't know, cartoon, whatever, because the hip is a stiff thing, and if you have this way to control the hip like this, well, it's actually not impossible. The thing is that in my case, I needed to split the control rig while not splitting it. So this means that I can do all this like it's like I have the upper body control rig and the lower body control rig, but they are still connected in terms of connected parenting. This is for auto IQ option, which means that I can then grab this and do even this while doing this. And same here, if I grab this foot and I grab, I don't know, this control shin here, then if I use the auto IQ option, I can expand beyond the I key bone constraint. Like here I have this pelvis. Now I've grabbed, no, not the right bone. Let's go. At some point I will reach the connector bone, which is this one. When it touches the auto I key length, there touches that bone, is the last one in the last one in the I key chain, in the auto I key chain, right? Then it will grab the whole body there, the upper body, and it will do FK on the body, except that because of the arms, because of bone constraints on the arm, we don't have on the head right now, we have reverse I key on the arms. And here I'm not sure it could be considered reverse I key, but the torso is probably F key, or it's a blend between F key and, anyways, this is reverse I key, right? The reason I don't know is because I'm not sure if the arms are delaying the posing of the spine, or the spine is as free as it would be with if the arms didn't existed with that bone constraint, IK bone constraint on for the hands, right? So this is a puppeteering skeleton, right? And I can do this and this can go wilder because I can make a manageable like in rig. If I can have some IK bone constraint for the head, and then I have that I can disable with a driver, and that it's very tricky, but it works in this rig in some more or less elegant way. I won't have it here because it will yeah, so the thing here is to be able to bend the spine wholly like this, right? And at the same time, this will still allow me to do this with the hip. So this means that this bone is just parent to the target hips, and the thing is that this target hip, it is parented to the control hip sway, which is this one. But the thing is that this bone is pointing upward. This one, it is pointing downward. The deform here is pointing, just as the rest probably is pointing upward, right? So these are, the bendy here is aligned with this, the control, but not, but the mechanism, or this hips, which holds the parent, it's the parent of the deform, but it is going reversely. Then it goes this part to the hip sway, which is also pointing backwards. And then what happens is that this thing has a fake parenting bone constraint, so it will operate as a stacking, as a second parent. It's a fake parent, but it's a stacking without double stacking transforms. Actually is just mixing the transforms, so it's mixing the transforms of both this spine or, which is the control hips upward, right? But it also is affected by this posing. And the reason it gets offset, it might look weird here, but that's okay. What's happening is that it just works, right? We don't care. We can just reset if we, right? So it goes back to normal, but there is actually another bone which is important, and we can sometimes pose it accidentally here. So this is the hip sway base. Actually, it's some sort of connector, because the auto IQ option, it needs to have only, the way it works is with connected bones, and so we need to have connected parenting. So what's happening is this is the last one in the hierarchy. Sometimes we can even leave it unparented and make some bone constraints. I showed this in a Blender community. I've presented a video there about this, or you can look in my channels, the secret of auto IQ option, and I show a little how this unparented things work. Here I'm not using in this control rig right now because it's a simplified version, and so this is the last one in the hierarchy, let's say, in terms of the skeleton, master puppeteering skeleton, this blue one, right? The one that holds auto IQ option, right? Features. And so this one, actually this one goes, it's going up, right? Pointing upward. And this one is parented, connected to the, it's parented, so the control hip, it's almost a mechanism bone, but because it suffers from, it's important that it is also posed and keyframe. So when you use auto keying option on, it's better for auto IQ option, because once you pose auto IQ, it will immediately keyframe everything that is in that auto IQ chain. So that means that this bone will also be moved and keyframe, and it's very important because it's part of this control structure. But if we reset it, it's fine. We sometimes you just reset the whole thing. You say, just be aware that it is there. So it's just this single line there. So what's happened is that this one, yeah, this half mechanism, half control, underlying, right, almost secret bone. So what is happens that this bone is parented, connected to the lock body. This name is weird, but this is actually the, it's not lock body, this is like control body. Yeah, so it's the body connector. So basically it connects, and you see why. Because this one, the hip sway, is parented, connected to the hip sway base, which we just saw here. So these two bones, they are actually these two bones, this bone is depending. Oops, let's just pose with auto key length of 1, then of 2. Okay, this is not working because actually I think I know what's happening. There, yeah, so I've decided to have it lock key XYZ. So that means that we don't need really to, yeah, so it will always stay straight regarding, yeah, so they always be aligned, right? No, not always, but basically it will stay with this alignment. This one is the one that is rotating, right? And if I reset, it will reset. And if I reset, I cannot really reset this one. I can reset this one. So they are splitting from, either I rotate this, either I rotate that, but this one is like it's neutral. It stays in, right? So it doesn't matter if I reset here or reset here when we reset both. So I don't really need to touch this one. But it's probably it will be keyframed as well. So it's important. I think it's important. Okay, so and this one which starts at the bottom, so it is directly connected here. So why we need this crossing stuff is because the connected parenting is not parented offset. So that's why we need to have, so in order to, so these ones connect directly to the connector. It connects here, right? While this, it has one more step. It needs to be parented to this, connected, so it's pointing down. So this is the tail, and then this is, then how it will reach here? It can't. So it needs this supportive bone to track, to cover this distance, and so that's how it works. And then, so because these bones here, they are parented, connected to the control hip left, parented directly to here. And so that's why with this I can control the whole hips, but I can displace them. And this is not a bone that is in the chain of the I key bone constraint chain. So this I can pose directly like a control bone, and this will control both simultaneously. So this is how this works somehow, but we need to focus here on the so this is the an explanation of how this tricky system works. It's not super complicated, but in order to reach this conclusive solution that works, there are variations of this, but this is my preferred one after several experiments. At the beginning, when I was doing this, I wasn't sure that it was possible to do something good with that. And I had to keep experimenting. There was plenty of frustration and iterations until I realized, oh, then I can do this and that. And this one is like the final version. Okay, so now we gonna see the plan. We have this Pxy. So just for the lower body now, let's see. There is, okay, so this one we know already, this target hips here, it just has this single bone constraint. It's a special one, and it's target the control hip, which is this one. Okay, so then this one has, okay, we lost the target. We were targeting the control rigs, right? Control upper arm, yeah. So we're gonna do the same here. We're gonna target here. The distance won't change because we haven't touched those things. So we can already symmetrize this bone to simplify this stuff. Then here I think we lost the target. No, target shin. I'm gonna change this. We are gonna use the control shin. That was reset here, fine. Let's just visualize if this is correct. Control forearm, master, okay. Control per arm. Okay, so it's no mystery here, right? So there are various ways of doing this. This is not the best way. This is just a provisionary solution. Here, target foot. Why don't we do this? This won't solve the problem that I was having, right? Of the foot becoming gigantic. No, it won't solve. It's just an alternative thing. So we're gonna just change this for this. We set here, and we're gonna make sure we symmetrize those. Then as for this bone, it's just as it is. Yeah, nothing else. All right, so we apparently we solved that one as well. And let's look at the system console. We see that we have some errors. Let me close Blender and reopen so we can check if there's anything remaining here. See, Control F1, it's clean. This is just stuff for, yeah, I don't just don't want to read that. Okay, it seems clean to me. Then we need to go back to the plan. So revise deform skeleton the base waves. Okay, so this will be very simple. So we're gonna go for the deform skeleton here, solo that, and we're gonna look one by one, right, of these bones. So let's check this. Sounds good, sounds good. So now you start to see here, is this, yeah, this sounds good. This one on the joint, this is just because there are some competing waves. The helper rig is probably here. This shoulder, should we? Yeah, that seems functional. Let's accept this. The neck, I just have one bone here, so apparently, yeah, I'm moving the bone, right? So it's not the way we pose the bone, right? So, and this for the head. So here we have some questions about the validity of those ways. The skull is fine, right? But it's not, this is also probably fine. I don't remember exactly why I have this. This is just because the smoothing area here is a bit, yeah, you know, I'm not gonna change this. It's just ugly. It looks weird, but what it means is that these regions, they are more expressive, they are more deformable through the, you know, for the eye, because the eye, the orbicularis oculi, those muscles around the eye, as for the eyeballs or eye holes, this for cartoony expression, at least on my character design, it's usually, yeah, see, there are not a lot of mesh, so this is just weird, but actually this mesh deforms way more. The skull is blocking a lot of region here to deform more. So there are less waves on the skull here, very little here. You don't need to do like that, but because in the end, the deformed bones of the head or other bone structure of the head, they will be the face, right? They will be parented to the head deformed bone here or something like that. And then whether these waves were black and existent for the head bone, the deformed head bone, or if they were very light here, slight waves here, low waves here, it wouldn't really matter, because as we pose this, everything follows. What is not following here just because of this eyeball thing. This is it's just doesn't move with this bone. It moves with the control head, right? So here it's fine. So you're not supposed to be posing this one, right? The deform bone directly. But if we pose the target head, because the structures are parented to the target, including these eyeballs, then we have also this working, right? So, but we are assessing the waves. So here it is. And then that means that the upper cheek here is very movable, very deformable. Maybe here we might want something different, but who knows? Already the almost the corner here of the eye, right? It's a bit weird, right? It doesn't feel right, but for the low poly, then we also need to remember there are some subdivisions here. We can probably improve this, but it looks correct. It looks as it was. It should work, right? Okay, so this is not the neck. Neck is here. Okay. Also, maybe we can do something about this. Why the deformed neck, the control neck could be larger than this, right? We see that we are having some weird offsets here. So we're gonna, I don't know how that occurred, but we are gonna fix this. We need to decide. I'm not sure what is the correct position here. Looks like we have some, no, these are the hips, right? Okay, we look for the mesh, right? These bones don't seem very centralized, right? They seem to be going like this a bit too much, right? I believe what got displaced was this one. We'll have to readjust some positionings here. So we're gonna get yeah, so this is a bit annoying. Let's do this vertex individual. This just this is important, right? Snap to the armature. Here we're gonna I think this one is safer. Doing this is safer. All right, and now this seems to be more organized. Okay, then we need to make sure that, yeah, probably the axes are correct, but what we can do is, let's see. Yeah, all these axes are aligned, right? You see, they are all coming. No, there is no, it's fine. They are. It's all. The other one is the opposite side for some reason, but they are symmetric, so this should just be fine. Yeah, nothing is moving here. Okay, let's just figure out these resets now. We need to reset this. Well, yeah, this is just because of the bone constraint, right? It's a little tweak, but this is, I don't think it's a problem. Okay, so this fixes the problem. Then let's just symmetrize this. And let's go here to check these ones. Stretch 2. Okay, let's continue the waves, base skeleton waves. So here we got this one. Okay, this seems right for the upper torso. Then we have the spine. Okay, then we have the hips. That's okay. It's probably not okay. There's probably much better ways to do this. but it's whatever we do is very hard. And here we have this sort of a helper structural bone. Some use as a helper bone, and some use as a, I'm not using this as a helper bone. I'm having this as a skeletal base bone, so it's just as valuable as the rest. But there are a lot of interrogations here. For me, this is actually good, so it follows this pattern, and so far it has been working. But who knows, maybe there would be better approach to this, maybe using this bone, I don't know, maybe in different orientations, although that doesn't really matter. What matters is the wave paint, and how the bone, what the bone steals of waves and where it steals. So it's more about the wave paint and the bone itself, and it is how the bone will move. So of course then the positioning of the bone matters, because in Blender the bone is not just a joint as I think it's in Maya. It's really has a head and a tail, it has a body. So this structure of the bone is in Blender is a problem sometimes, because even if it were like Maya, that doesn't mean that rigging would be any easier. It might help a lot of problems, simplify a lot of problems of rigging, but I don't know, I never rigged in Maya, so I think it would be better if it was unified, right? But who knows, there might be other CG software that work just like Blender. And the thing is, the idea of the joint is that you don't really have to care with this direction of the bone. You just are dealing with a pivoting point, and it makes things so much easier when it comes to skinning. Because when you start to rig with the bone, right, it just doesn't make sense. The orientation of the bone is like, you need to abstract that. So this is why the joint concept, unique joint, unified joint, maybe it's actually better. It also makes more sense for the understanding, maybe understanding how the skinning algorithms work. All right, and then we have the thigh, which seems to have a wrong wave here. Okay, and then we have the shin. You see there's this area here of the knees is fine, and then we have the foot, yeah, and then we have the toes, and this way simplified, and we have the extremity here, which are not waved. So maybe we're gonna make some changes here. Yeah, let's make this change. So I'm not sure, let's just do this. It's just two bones, right? So we're gonna get this, and we're gonna do this, and then we gonna try this, and we're gonna do this. Let's try, this probably will be horrible. No, it's not horrible. It seems to, it's very crude what I just did, right? The bones are not okay, because we don't pose these bones like this. We need to pose at least using the, yeah, these ones, right? Yeah, so I'm sorry. So basically we're gonna revise something here. We're gonna hide this. We need to make some, yeah, so we have to remove the waves here because it's kind of stupid, right? So we're gonna get this. we got this. We gonna remove waves, and there we go. So we're gonna use the smooth operator here in a special way. We want to expand. I'm not sure this is doing. Okay, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do here as well. Same thing, right? And then as for this one and this one, we okay, can't I double select the bones? Yeah, I can. So here, maybe it's not great, but it seems to be working for the most part. Yeah, so more than is good enough. But this is not adequate right now because I don't have a control rig for this toes, right? I don't even know the best way to rig them in relation to the other foot leg rig structure. So it should be like the hands, I guess. So the fingers, right? So what we're gonna do here, the case of the fingers, we can probably, yeah, you can pick like this bone here, right, as a reference, and we're gonna duplicate it. Okay, for now we do this, but I want to see where did we parent this mechanism key hand, right? So okay, so that's just, we're gonna bring this here. We don't need to do this. We're just gonna align it with this. We're gonna need two of them. Yeah, actually, we're gonna change the name, right? Ctrl F2, B for bone. So we're gonna, instead of phalanx, yeah, like we're gonna pick this. So toes, yeah, one big toe and toe, right? So this is because of the wave paint process. It has nothing to do with the, yeah, so it's toes and big toe, right? So it's like and then we're gonna duplicate this, and we're gonna make this one, instead of big, nothing, toes actually. And then we're gonna duplicate both of them. So, and we're gonna just parent here connected, parent here connected, and we're gonna get these coordinates and move it there. Actually move both of them here, take these coordinates, move this here, then we're gonna pick exactly that joint and move this there, then pick this joint, move this one there, and then we just snap here and snap here, and that should do. But we need the parenting also, so we're gonna take this one. We don't need to look at the deformed skeleton, so just now parent this here, keep offset, parent this here, keep offset, so it's symmetrizing, it's great. Then we have, can hide this for now, keep offset and keep offset. So there's no pinning here, which can be a problem. Why do I? Okay, but I have a little I key thing here, so it's okay. The way it's doing is incorrect, right? Insufficient, right? These orientations are wrong. So okay, I see. This is happening because they are oriented wrongly, right? The main direction of bending is Z down, Z axis pointing down, the main direction of bending. So in order to fix this, we're just gonna get the these bones, right? And we're gonna shift N, and we can do just a global Z axis. There we go. And now if we go on here, we see that, yeah, and this joint here is another problem, that we are not taking care about this. So the best way, no, not the best way, one way to solve these things, which is yeah, the subdivision is better. So one way that would help solving this would be to have the, I'm considering it as a secondary step to a rig, but it's a destructive process, slightly reversible, but there's a problem that the bones, they lose some angle values. It's weird. You decide is the neo-Vitruvianism, where Da Vinci's sketches, right, drawings of human motion, human body motion. So basically we could have the fingers, the phalanx, rotated like 30 degrees in the main direction of bending, or even more maybe, but 30 might be good enough. So same for the every limb, except the limbs which are maybe the spine, which are more central, those they can be straight. So the character won't move in terms of height. It's just the legs, the limbs that will, so will be more like a, what is this? There's a bone here that is, yeah, so okay, I forgot to parent this. So in principle, these bones will be parented to the mechanism, these ones. Shift Alt left click. We have a newcomer. Hold on, let me just parent this, keep offset, and now if we go back here, that is fixed, right? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Keep going, brother. Welcome, Shahadi Thosain N6V. Welcome. So this thing is done. Yeah. So we got one more thing done. The base deforms, they are mostly solved. We don't, these details we'll check with fellows of the project if they have any other better ideas. I never rigged nor modeled the full humanoid human real 5 toes foot. So I always did a very simplified stylized feet, right? So I don't know the best solution for that. Usually you'd like to, as the fingers to have a pinning system. The problem for the leg is that the leg, usually we have this Ike leverage system, and I'm not sure how the leverage system of the ankle, of the base of the foot, right? It's not the called the ankle, but the back, like the heel, right? The heel, how it will relate to the toes if we rig the toes with in this more advanced way. So I don't know the consequences if we can keep doing some leverage from the toes, for example. I don't know. So maybe we don't need, because usually this leverage anyways is from the heel and yeah, it's from the heel, so it's not from the toes here. So as soon as it starts here, it just break the joint, right? You just have a formation of angles, so it's not, this rig doesn't have this leverage system. I will ignore, because we are just here for, not for the animation, we are here for the skinning, right? In other iterations we can bring this up. Okay, these other questions. So here, clean up vertex group, manage of old vertex group. Okay, this is just very basic and boring, but we need to see. So we start addressing the objects that we have here. So we have, I think they are kind of solved. This is a nightmare, because actually the tongue has nothing, right? It should just have, in principle, it should just have tongue deformed, right? So, and whichever is not here, we should probably yeah, so we're gonna do something else here. We're gonna lock these ones, invert, and we're gonna remove, batch delete all unlocked groups, take this off. There we go. So we're not using this, but we're gonna sustain them for now. Okay, so this one is cleaned. Here we have we are using both of them, so it's good. It's good. Okay, this is done. Then we have the eyes. Then we have the eyeballs, which, yes, this is correct. Then we have eye. Well, we should check. No, I haven't created any geometry, but it's just to be sure that nothing is wrong. That should be sufficient, although looks weird the way it's organized, but that should work for the form we want. Yeah. Okay, we don't care about this for now. Then we have the icons, which is very underdeveloped here, because the rig here, why have this thing here? Yeah, it's a shame. We should have a development for this one, at least for the very basic functionalities, right? There's not even the wave paint, the bones, so, but we have the waves, right? So left and right. So what is this icon? Okay, I know what is this, right? So let's try to, yeah, let's make this to work, right? So we're not gonna use this way. Actually, we want to go back here, and we want to mark this. I want to place this bone exactly there. To align this bone to that face, to that thing, I would need to add a face. Yes, okay, I think that's like this. bones are very good to make this stuff, but it's not the same for the objects. So I want to align this. How do I align the bone? It's not something like that. Okay, let's do the following. I'm going to isolate this. We're gonna snap this to it seems that it's not working. We want the it needs to align. Okay, like no, not like here. Yeah, this could work because then we can just rotate like GZ. Okay, for some reason the keyboard, okay, it's just a numpad. And we're gonna move this like this. Okay, it's not aligned, so I don't know what. I don't remember how to use this. You need to. Okay, maybe this is aligned. No, yeah, it seems aligned. Okay, so we're gonna. This is not the way to do it. I'm just doing this the simplest, very crude way. I have this set. Okay, this should be a. It seems to be correct, right? So slightly tilted. Oh, maybe it's just an illusion. I think it's correct. And if it's not, that's should be good enough anyway. So what we got here is that we're gonna change these names to, instead of this, we got here, we want this to have this name. These are useless vertex groups now, but we're not gonna change them now. We're gonna okay, we're gonna change their names simultaneously. So instead of, well, never mind, let's just name one by one. So here and here are okay. So that means that now they've intaken, can delete this. That means now these bones, they have inherited this wave, and now we're gonna make extra small bones, so you can like go back here, we can expand this, and we're gonna make some mini bones here. Also, this can be, gonna change this to stick. We're gonna shift D this. We're gonna call this, yeah, so they are this is already, yes, there's 8 of them. It's very simple. We just have to find the right positions on the mesh. It's in a geometric order, should be simple because the wave pane, right, it's in the board of the. Okay, so we're gonna maybe change this color. we can use, I don't know, this one, right? And as for the position, yeah, we'll have to do something like that. I believe we're just gonna use this. And then we parent this to this. And while this one has the target head, yeah, which I believe is correct. So here starts to deform here, right? Then we're gonna have to 1, 2, 3, actually 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're gonna just find out. Okay, you see that the position is not quite correct. We actually want the middle. We want actually here. So I prefer to do like that because it's tricky. We can't have the selections simultaneously, so I want to have this done like here. And snapping won't, I believe snapping won't guarantee that I would have the be exactly on the center of the in this orientation. Yeah. All right, let's check now. We have for the waves, we have this. Yes, everything seems right. And also here. And if we grab the central one, can make it actually on edit mode. No, just this one. Can make it bigger, and all the others actually we can bone collection. No, we want actually what are make them thinner, individual origins. Okay, that is fine. The colors didn't work. We gotta hide this and hide this, select all this, change to this. All right, so what we do with this now is that it will be very hard to make this work without fixing the setups of the eyelids, right? So maybe I have to hide make some very simplified version, or just try to isolate. Yeah, just rig with this just to show what this does, right? So basically what we want is not to use a shrink wrap. I think we use a solidify modifier here. Yeah, something like that. And it can just be this, right? And probably a little more than that. Yeah, one is like this can be the case, right? Maybe a subdivision, right? Which I never remember if it needs to be after or before, right? It depends. in this case, after, I think it's better. Okay, it's more rounded. Then what we can do here is that we need to create some shrink wrapping system. The control rig for this is even more complicated than the but this I'm not gonna build right now. So when the shrink wrap bond constraint, when you use this target here, which is not selectable, but it's here, and we're gonna do outside surface, and I think, yes, align to the positive here. So each one of them, yeah, these colors are not good, right? So they are just bad for the organization. Let's just do this thing, whatever. Yeah, it's horrible, but at least we know what we are handling here. It's better to separate this. They are base skeleton for the eyes, so it's kind of useful. The eye coins here. All right, so we got this, and we need to now select all of this. Yeah, it's all in the same bone collection, so we are simplifying stuff. So we want to Shift Alt C. So now all these have the same. Oops, what's happening here? For some reason. Okay, of course. No, of course not. What is happening here? Looks like we have some creepy dependency cycle. Eyeball, armature modifier. Geometry first. So it's something about. Why this should be happening? There's a shrink wrap towards the eyeballs, yes, but it's probably a parent that is incorrect. Target head, no, this should not be the case. No, nothing to do with the parent. Yeah, same here, nothing to do with the parent. Okay, I'm gonna reparent this to the so this thing has okay, this is simple. Do by chance this has something like a no, shouldn't be anything like that. What shrink wraps to the eyeball also? Yeah, so it's the okay, so probably something about this need to fix here. No, this is still happening. Why this thing is synchronizing? Oh, of course, of course. This is an eye. I've added this. This color shouldn't be the same. This is creepy. Okay, of course, it's the this bone shouldn't have the shrink wrap. There we go. So we gonna also change these colors here. They are the eyeballs. They are not for the, it's just this, let's re-enable this. So if now we have this kind of follow-up. So what we need to be aware is that the eyelids, even when the eye is closed, they need to be on top of that. That means that this cannot, you see here, because it's very, right now we don't have the possibility to do this, right? But it works, right? It just works. You just need to have the thickness of the eyelids mesh just above this thing, right? All right, so we got this, and now we I hope I didn't break other stuff while trying to solve this. Yes, we did. We had to change this, right? So you see the eye is behind the eyelid, so it's already working. That's it. The problem then is how you control this eye coin from the distance. It's very tricky, but it is doable. And so this is good. So you have now this system, and we can progress here. This is very good addition. I just wasted a bit of time because I deleted the skeletal structure, and now I had to rebuild it from scratch. Fix fan bone. So we are now just in the last session, less things to do here. So the most interesting ones probably is that we need to address the wave paint of the deform bones. So for example, I believe that this one, for example, is not a very good wave paint for this. Even I probably might change this setup. So we're gonna use the smooth in an inverted way. Okay, I really don't know what really changed, but of course we need the factor. Okay, let's do something like that, right? Now let's go for this other one. We need some pose. Well, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's actually very bad. Let's do this smooth again. Yeah, so it's something about, I think this stretch is a problem here. It's not like, yeah, the stretching, I'm afraid of the stretching because it really causes sometimes it's difficult to, it's not just like a rotation. It can be positive, like you see, because it affects the volume, but it's hard to predict. It can cause some wreak havoc. So this is the thing that I'm not sure right now how to employ this in the best way possible. And so here, for example, maybe we need to adapt it. Also, maybe it's too low here. Maybe we want to bring this bone closer to like more like here. Here maybe. Maybe the thing here, yeah, I think we got something here. Of course, we can just, yeah, for some reason, always try to reset in some, so the best thing here actually would be to have, because this is super annoying, so maybe we need a proxy bone, right, to set this at once and forever. So it will be a mapper bone, right? So it's just something like as follow. If I know where I want this to be, like let's say I want it to be here, then from here we're gonna add directly in the bone, triple bone setup. So we're gonna add this bone here, maybe B bone, I don't know, and we're gonna make this as a map. It's a mapper bone. I call them mapper bone, so it's a map, map, yeah, so it's a map stealer knee, no, it's a float, elbow float, right? So instead of stealer float, actually instead of this, all right, and then for this map knee float left, and then we got the parenting will be the mechanism skeleton, right? And for this mapper I like to use this color, so parent to here, keep offset, symmetrize, then we're gonna actually, if this is the position, then it's the, no, this is the head. Okay, this is fine. The bone length really doesn't matter, so you can just do something like this. Then we're gonna shift D this, and we're gonna find some point there of interest. Then we're gonna change, instead of knee, we're gonna change for elbow, and then we can parent this here, tip offset, and then we're gonna get this and bring it on the, well, on the bone there. Okay, then we are gonna change this target here, stretch to this, and then we can resymmetrize that, and then we're gonna get looks like we have some weird stuff there going on. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, we have, I see what's going on. We have some badly positioned bones. I don't know what went wrong. So anyway, let's fix this one first. No. This will be depending, right? So dependent. Yeah, something moved. We might have to disrupt something here. So just gonna I don't know what is the correct one. So we're gonna use this reference. Okay, everything seems to be matching, but in this case we might have to reset this. There we go. This one I don't need. Okay, then now we're gonna get this one, change the target here, stretch to here, reset this, we don't need this, and that should be fine. Reset. I'm not sure this will work, but in terms of the deforms right now, but we certainly can. Okay, let's resymmetrize this just in case. There's something wrong about this, the other side. Okay, just a symmetrization that was needed. Then we got here to the target skeleton again. Let's go for the limb triple. Okay, this we're gonna change the hierarchy. This is more important. Then we gonna, it's now becoming more important. Now we got here this just revision. Yeah, we don't want this anymore. We reset and symmetrize, and now looking for the control rig, and that it seems that, yeah, so yeah, so I think it's something that we can use, but I need to figure out how to improve. This one is a little much better now. It's just that joint here, this lower part of the thigh, that is, it's weird. The mesh topology, something here might be broken. Maybe there's just some crappy positioning. I really don't know. This geometry here that I'm having is slightly experimental. And there were other systems here which can also, so here we might just have to play more with the waves and other, the geometry, the arrangement of the geometry, right? But in principle, it's doing a very good job for the volume. It's just not rotating very well here. It's probably that we need to expand the waves of the one of, yeah, somewhere we need to play more of that. I don't remember right now what to do, but it doesn't seem like that this thing will be the cause, the real cause of problem. The problem is already happening anyways. This seems to be valuable, but need more investigations. Okay, so for now, this is what I've got. It was then we have the other setup, which is the one with the body here that is currently unavailable, but we can enable it. There's a target vertex group here that is this armature one and also affects the joint. So once this, I've reported a bug about this multi-modifier. It has apparently some conflict with the mirror modifier, so it's a bit better now, but it's not great. But yeah, it gives some improvements on the simple joints. Also, it helps on these joints are quite good right now. And I also not using the subdivision. Now it is enabled, it doesn't simplify, but say that's quite good, right? This okay, so let's conclude that this triple joint is fine, and I actually don't need to be having this, right? Let's get the fan now. The fan is a big problem now because it's time consuming. There are many fan structures here that are, I'll have to see if they activate or not. Maybe I need a new session for that. Yeah, so here we have to revise. This one seems to be working. We need to check what happens with and without the deform property. Yeah, so they're not doing very, we need to adapt more, but they are doing some jobs. So they see as we create a more acute angle between by bending the limb, then these bones, they derotate backwards, right? And if we try to rotate the limb in an opposite direction, which we should be able to do, I don't have the, I don't remember how we do this. Hold on, let's see. I can break the joint, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, I need to try some. It's just not doing what I want here. There we go. So then they will go, they'll delay, they'll derotate on the other opposite direction. It's very subtle, we barely don't see, and let's unbreak this joint. We can do this with just the tweaker rig, it's easier, but this also works with auto IK option. We can also works with IK bone constraint, but then it's a bit, it's also not so simple because you cannot really control these bones very well. The auto IK option allows us to manipulate a little more these bones, even though they are in the IK chain. It's weird, but it can work. Okay, so yeah, so it's just let's just check, are they, do these helper bones have waves? Okay, there are some waves here. I want to change this what's happening? No, this is pose mode, right? No, not what I want. I want to change them. They are oversized, and that creates some confusion. Yeah, I should have done this way before, right? Strangely, they are in that joint and not in this joint. Why do they have this thing? Yeah, they seem to be in a very weird positioning, right? So the positioning can't be right, and they are very offset. In principle, they should be here, right? But they have waves, right? The waves are all there. They are the reason why the wrist. Okay, here we need also here. So the annoying thing about this dwarf and bones is that they need to make the waves based on, ideally mathematically based on the other waves. It's some function about duplicating the vertex group and then rebuilding them. Here will be even more complicated because we have to merge. I don't remember how to do this. There's a add-on that can merge waves. I think we can. I need to find how that works again. But okay, so likely we would like to redeploy these bones in the right position. I really don't know why they are here. So it's very simple. We just need to bring this location here. Then we can pick this and move here, and that should do. They don't need to have exactly the same size, right? But yeah, let's keep this organized. So we want to give them the same bone length. There we go. As for the orientation, if it needs to be like that, it's okay. We don't. They are aligned, right, with their respective. Well, here is more complicated because you have a orientation here, a different orientation here. So, but they are sort of favoring the hand orientation is the Z pointing up. I believe that's the case, and same here. It's Z up. Okay, so once I complete this, there is just revise the leverage setup, which would be, yeah, we have this leverage system here. We'll have to revise if this if everything here is according. It doesn't need to be perfect, but if everything is fine, so it will be relatively fast because it seems to be fine. So as for the face, there would be something about the mouth that. No, I'm okay with this. Yeah, so we will not. Proxy, there's nothing yet at the proxy. This is for the face also. I'm not gonna work with this now. We want to make this faster, so we just need to conclude those skeleton things. Yeah, so this is the only thing that remains. So um, let's get ready for the next session, which I believe will be, yeah, it will be tomorrow, and we're gonna complete these two remaining things, and then we are ready for the project. Then we decide what we'll do for the channel here. So my channel right now this year, maybe I'm considering making shorts tutorials of rigging. I never did shorts tutorials. I don't like the format. I hate the format, but also but it seems that it can be valuable. Let's see what happens. So it will be short. It will help me make shorter content, and dedicated content won't take too much. I think we'll see what happens. So that's it, fellows. Thanks for watching. Take care. Happy blending. Have a nice weekend. See you soon.